Hello guys, welcome back to our Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Big brother, do you think I still don't know anything about you? Thunder God smiled. I still remember back, during the Great Nirvana, you and I both were young, and we met with danger time and time again. Even in the most dire of situations, you always made the impossible possible, don't flatter me. Hong said, let it go, big brother. Let them see the skills of us humans from Earth. Thunder God said. Luo Feng too was anticipating, watching Hong. Hong looked at Thunder God before turning to look at Luo Feng. I can only try my best. Hong revealed a smile. The three from Black Dragon Mountain Empire, that made it through the elimination, were able to participate in the arena war. Nabini, however, had already been eliminated. One had to know that this arena war was broadcasted live. Among the trillions of people in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield that had watched this battle, many were enraged and broke wine glasses or bottles, and many more were angry and unsatisfied. That punk from the Bu Luo starfield is too treacherous, he actually snuck an attack on Nabini. That bastard Nabini shouldn't have lost, he should have been able to make it into the top 10, 000, in today's arena war. Our Black Dragon Mountain Empire still has Hong. Hong will definitely win, he'll definitely be able to make it into the Ganwu Universe country's top 10. 000, brother, that Hong was among the lowest of the ranks that made it through the first elimination. For him to survive in the arena, that's going to be very hard. I think Luo Feng has the biggest chance, that Luo Feng will definitely make it through. As for Hong, he too will be able to do it. Who knows, maybe he purposely hid his true powers during the elimination. Virtual Universe, Dojo number 10389. About 3 hours after watching Nabini's arena war, the 161st group battle in Dojo 10389 was about to begin. The entire dojo was filled with cheers and roars, and the beautiful commentator was introducing every genius one by one with a small description. Number 93, Hong, from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, ranked 982 in the 72nd elimination world. The beautiful lady introduced, Hong Hong Hong. In a particular region among the spectators, over 1 million people from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire shouted loudly, almost as though they were declaring, this genius Hong was from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. And amongst the cheering crowd, Luo Feng and Thunder God creased their eyebrows. Big trouble. Thunder God said softly, I didn't expect that savage would be there, right? Luo Feng too held his breath and waited, as he worried for his big brother. Everyone was powerful, having been able to make it into the arena battles. Especially the group in which Hong was in, with the savage that had killed his second brother before. Very quickly, the countdown began and the dojo roared as 100 absolute geniuses appeared in the center. Big brother Luo Feng picked him out with a single glance. Within the dojo, Hong carried in his hand the long pike, his gaze cautious as it swept his surroundings. This circular arena spanned a diameter of about 30 kilometers. During the course of the battle, the space would constantly shrink, forcing the faster flying people to have nowhere to dodge. After about 15 minutes, the area would shrink to a diameter of only 1 meter. Hence every arena war battle would at most last for 15 minutes. Amongst these 100, the strongest should be savage. Hong swept his gaze past the 99 others, his mind swiftly picturing the information he had seen before. Also there are 3 others that are very strong. First engage with the weaker ones and survive. Then fight and risk it all after. Hong quickly remembered the information. He was very clear that if he fled far at the start, he would definitely become the targets of the absolute geniuses. It would be better for him to mix in the crowd at the start. As for surviving in this war, Hong was pretty confident. Let the battle begin. A low booming voice resounded within everyone in the dojo's minds. With a shrinking area of 30 kilometers, the arena would only have a diameter of 1 m left in 15 minutes. Rumble rumble. Mad amounts of energy flows erupted. The 100 geniuses within the dojo swiftly began their battles. Receive my blow. That messy-haired, tall and sturdy youth roared. His bare feet only took 1 step, and yet he managed to close a 100 m distance. That fierce slash sliced towards a spirit reader, who didn't seem to expect such speed from the opponent. He was shocked as he tried to dodge while using his spirit weapon to block. Clang. The short blade cut down. His power couldn't be blocked. It was akin to a mountain crushing down on one. That spirit weapon was knocked aside and the short blade immediately sliced through that spirit reader's head, causing it to split open into 2. Ha ha, ha ha, the tall and sturdy man laughed. Walking barefoot, every step he took allowed him to travel a large distance. His instant increase in speed was very fast, faster than even most flying spirit readers. Surround and kill him, everybody team up and kill him first. Someone shouted. 2 spirit weapons shot over, dang. Dang. The short blade moved in a waving motion, easily blocking the 2 spirit weapons and knocking them far away. Surround and kill me. The tall and sturdy youth was like a monster, actually traveling amidst the crowd, making the 10 or so that wanted to kill him unable to surround him. On the contrary, that youth very quickly settled half of that group. This savage's path was simply a slaughter. Even though these 100 were all absolute geniuses, no one could actually match up against this savage. This battle, there was no doubt the most outstanding was Savage. Other than Savage, there was a lady whose performance was also extraordinary. She was dressed in armor and was incomparably valiant. One could tell just from her figure that this was an extremely sexy and hot beauty. However, her aura and her gaze were filled with brutality. Also, her kills were all clean, making it so that no one could tell that she was a lady, wielding the long pike. Hong was engaged in battles amongst a group of geniuses. One could only see geniuses falling down dead one after another. Hong, however, was still alive, ang. His pike was like lightning, swiftly and suddenly piercing through a genius's forehead from the back. Hong's expression after killing someone didn't waver at all. He still remained amidst the crowd, as his pike danced around, seemingly normal. However, multiple attempts from many spirit weapons were unable to pierce his defense. Time passed and the deaths rose to 60, 61, 62 as the numbers shrank, the group battles too lessened. That valiant lady stared straight at Hong. In the universe, there were many that used such pike weapons. However, those that used pike weapons normally picked the hard and sturdy ones. The one Hong used, however, seemed more flexible. The moment it began to dance around, it was like a huge snake, extremely peculiar, interesting. The valiant lady wielded her 2 blades and flew straight at Hong. Not good. Hong's expression changed. During the group battles, he had long observed and come to the conclusion that within this group, that Lady Warrior was definitely one of the top 3. Only Savage was a little stronger than her. He didn't expect her to start rushing towards him. However, since the enemy was rushing over, there was no way to dodge, he could only invite the battle. The pike revolved, just like a loach in water, swift and nimble as it immediately pierced towards that Lady Warrior that was rushing over. Interesting. The Lady Warrior's eyes were filled with excitement, as her body emanated a green energy. The waves wrapped around the 2 arc blades. She began to wave them and the blades danced about, slashing towards the tip of the pike, causing a formless revolving energy to be transmitted onto the pike. Hong's expression changed abruptly, and he immediately retracted his pike fiercely. As soon as he did that, with an explosive sound he raised the pike with his hand, and almost like an axe, he fiercely chopped down at the Lady Warrior. The lady's entire being became a fierce torrent of water flow, as an arc blade fiercely received that strong attacking force from the pike, following which she stuck closely to Hong and continued her attack. In an instant Hong felt like he was almost sucked into a whirlpool, and unable to escape. This Lady Warrior already has some comprehension of the water origin laws. I'm in big trouble. Hong was panicking. The ancient Chinese culture had always heavily emphasized the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire and earth. Even though Hong walked the path of the light domain, he had a very clear understanding about the laws of water. However, understanding it was one thing, whether he could actually outmatch her was another. If she's like water, I'll become like stone. Hong didn't have a choice. He grit his teeth and the surrounding light warped and his entire being became extremely glaring. The pike's speed immediately raised another gear. Once the pike was fully unleashed, it was like a tortoise shell, without any openings at all. Dang. 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 The Lady Warrior's water origin law-infused slashes were all extremely heavy and powerful, giving off tremors that Hong felt as though they were impossible to block. If one had not stepped through the gateway of origin laws, one is useless after all. Hong suddenly understood this logic. Hong in the 1 billion filled dojo, many Black Dragon Mountain Starfield people were very nervous. And there were even more people watching through the broadcast. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island above, floating island. Those that lived in the floating island were all at least a universe level. On a particularly large, but simple-looking villa, within one of its living rooms, a man sat there who was dressed in a dark red robe. There was a lightning mark on his forehead. This person was one of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's most powerful sector lords, Jiang Tianchen. And beside him, there was a kind-looking old man with a head full of white. This black-clothed punk is from our Black Dragon Mountain Empire. The old man seemed interested. His light domain, from the looks of it, seems to be level 6 or so. However, he is really a genius at battle. His flexible but strong pike is actually able to allow him to unleash his domain to this level. This is even comparable to those domain level 8 punks. Domain level 8 was not necessarily stronger than domain level 7. It all relied on one's ability to unleash its strength. One theory. Maybe one had a comprehension of the origin laws. However, what determined the strength in a battle was the knowledge of how to actually use the laws in battle. For example, Luo Feng, using the soaring shuttle when compared to the Nanshan armament, the power was completely different. That was because, through the Nanshan armament, he was able to actually let his comprehension of the origin laws explode. Yes, Head General, he is from our empire. Jiang Tianchen said respectfully. The old man smiled. Head General, that title, if any other sector lord from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire heard that, they would be shocked. In the Three Axe Mountain organization, a sector lord's rank was that of general. And the Three Axe Mountain organization had 3 original founders. Only these 3 founders had the right to be called head general. Three Axe Mountain, as a leader of the 4 large organizations within the Black Dragon Mountain star field, even the Sacred Land Black Dragon Mountain, and Ice Leviathan Sacred Land wouldn't be willing to mess with it, because of the 3 founding members of the Three Axe Mountain. The 3 founding members were all awarded the Domain Lord, Huge Axe title when they were young. A Domain Lord Huge Axe Warrior, when compared to the Universe level Huge Axe title, was much rarer, at least 1,000 to 10,000 times rarer. Although the 3 of them came from different star fields, they got along extremely well, even becoming bosom friends in life and death. Because the 3 of them had the title of Huge Axe Warrior, they decided to build the organization Three Axe Mountain. They were made of 2 men and 1 woman. Their names were Lament, Molly and Luo. Of the group, Lament and Molly both became undying. Only Luo, this legendary warrior from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, remained stuck at the pinnacle of sector lords. However, he was known to be invincible amongst the sector lords. Ever since about 100,000 years ago, he vanished within the Black Dragon Mountain star field, and no one ever saw him again. No one knew whether this 3rd founder was alive or dead. He's from our Black Dragon Mountain star field. This question revealed this head general, the founding member from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. The 3 founding members all came from different star fields. And the one from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire was Luo. Do you have this punk's information? The old man said, yes. Jiang Tianchen replied respectfully, very quickly sourcing out the information, and said softly, his name is Hong. He is close to the other 2 youths, Luo Feng and Thunder God. Their rough information, they should be Earth's aboriginals from our empire's Milky Way galaxy, aboriginals. The old man's eyebrows creased slightly. Right, however this is a conjecture from our Three Axe Mountain Information Department. Jiang Tianchen said, also, Hong, Luo Feng and Thunder God all took part in this time's genius battle, and the most outstanding isn't even Hong, it's Luo Feng. There's one even more outstanding. The old man revealed a shocked expression. Yes. That Thunder God ranked 5,128 in the elimination. Hong was ranked 982. Luo Feng was ranked 51. Jiang Tianchen said respectfully. The old man slightly nodded, looking at the screen before him that was broadcasting the arena war. He said shocked, this Hong, in this critical time, he actually broke through. His domain actually rose from level 6 to 7. Oh. That lady unleashed her strength. What powerful blade techniques, continuous and unrelenting, heavy and powerful, that Hong cannot withstand it anymore. Oh, what a pity, he still died. There's no way around it, the difference in power was simply too much. Jiang Tianchen was quite shocked. Head General Luo rarely ever spoke so much. Right now it seemed as though he really cared for this Hong. Luo, there was a legend in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Even the 2 sacred lands, Black Dragon Mountain and Ice Leviathan, the 2 god leaders, would show respect to Luo. Firstly, Luo's 2 life or death buddies were undying. Secondly, Luo was indeed very strong. Jiang Tianchen's reputation was mostly only within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Luo, however, had a reputation enough to even make the million sector lords in the Ganwu universe country respect him. If not for him getting distracted and working on the time origin laws, he probably would have become an undying long ago. Jiang Tianchen looked at the old man before him. The elder Luo that led him by hand before was sighing endlessly. Is this life? The head general has changed his mind, not being over-ambitious like before, wanting to perfect his light origin laws and break through to the undying. However, he met with that unexpected calamity, getting stuck for over 800,000 years. Wasting the final most important bit of time, there's only 20,000 years until he reaches the limit. Lord, how can you punish the head general this way? Jiang Tianchen had a bitter taste in his mouth. Of the three founders, Luo was the most exceptional back then, and also the most ambitious. Man was helpless to the hands of fate. The 161st group of the 1,000 arena war groups, the battle was over. The spectators let sighs. Sitting in the stands with the other Earth people, watching Hong's body within the arena, they felt helpless. He still lost. Thunder God shook his head helplessly. The opponent was indeed too strong. Luo Feng shook his head, feeling some of the origin laws. One's strength will have an absolute change. Even though Big Brother lost rightfully, it's still a pity. Yes, a pity. Hong had indeed done very well, even to the point of staying to the last 20 or so. However, he was killed by that Lady Warrior's ultimate move. Let's go, return home. Luo Feng stood up. 30, it's all up to you now. Of the three from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire that made it through the elimination, only you are left. Thunder God stood up, saying softly, just me. Luo Feng's ears moved. He could hear the discussions around him. This region was filled with over 1 million from the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Obviously, Nabini's and Hong's straight failures had left the trillions of citizens in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield sullen. Right now, all their hopes were transferred to Luo Feng. Luo Feng will definitely win, right? He made it to rank 51 in the elimination. This arena war will definitely be an easy win. Luo Feng is our empire's most powerful genius. Luo Feng is definitely hiding his true strength. His true strength must be even more powerful than his ranking. His sudden jump in the later parts of the first stage proves that he wasn't even giving it his all. Only towards the back did he begin to gain points. If he had started right from the beginning, he definitely had the possibility of rushing to the top 10 in his world. Even the top 3 Inchwell said, just like that, tomorrow Luo Feng will take part in the arena war. I've already bought my tickets. Luo Feng will definitely wipe them all out. Wipe them out. Many Black Dragon Mountain Empire citizens, who wouldn't accept the losses, were discussing. After all, the one they had the most hopes on from the beginning had always been Luo Feng. Third brother, I've lost. You have to work hard. Hong said so. 30, do as you deem fit. Thunder God said, even I can make it to such high ranks in the virtual games. My daddy is the strongest. He's definitely the strongest in the Ganwu universe. Little Hai said. Luo Feng, work hard. Our entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire's countless citizens are watching you. This was what the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's emperor had said to him over the phone. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Luo Feng will definitely succeed. He'll definitely win. Definitely win. The entire Black Dragon Mountain Island, almost all of its citizens, the over 1 trillion citizens on the island cheered and roared through the night. Some in bars, while others in plazas and public gatherings. Hundreds of thousands to even millions of people gathering to watch the broadcasts. Luo Feng, the only Black Dragon Mountain Empire citizen left within the genius battle. If he won, he would become the pride of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Madness. Luo Feng felt a stifling atmosphere. Daddy, the virtual games I play even have country wars. Our Black Dragon Mountain Empire against the other empires. Little Hai, that's a virtual game. Shushin laughed and said, your dad is doing the real thing. To rank number 1 in a star field, even in the virtual game, I am still an absolute warrior. Little Hai said. A silent Luo Feng finally looked shocked at his son. What game are you playing? A war-related game. Little Hai chuckled. Night passed and the day began. Even though countless from the Black Dragon Mountain star field were about to come to the arena and begin the madness, Luo Feng himself was standing alone in the wilderness of Earth, on a skyscraper's balcony in a dilapidated city, quietly sitting there. A group of flying type beasts, the blood crows flew high above. In this dilapidated city, beast sightings were common, only occasionally seeing human fighter tracks. However, Luo Feng didn't suppress and naturally unleashed all of his willpower and aura. Naturally, all the beasts and human fighters didn't even dare to get close to him. Quietly sitting on the balcony for a while, Luo Feng was controlling his mental state. According to the teachings of his first and second brother, whether it was yoga or martial arts, they both heavily emphasized one's mental state. Training of the mind was very important. However, in the universe there wasn't anyone who talked about training the mind. One's mental state may seem very trivial, without much effect on one's battle ability at all. No matter how strong a normal human of Earth's mental state was, a universe-level warrior, could easily turn him to dust. Exploding in rage, at times it allowed one to break past his limits and unleash more strength. However, they may also cause one to lose his form. This was mental state. According to his brothers, from what they saw, the reason why both of them could have their domains at Star Traveler level was linked to their mental states. Thunder God could in an instant enter absolute peace, becoming one with nature, fusing with the elements. Hong too could in an instant become completely void, blending with his surroundings, combining all his senses, domains, and other things together to unleash his greatest strength. Thunder God and Hong took decades of training to reach that level of mental calmness. Luo Feng couldn't do it, emptying the mind and soul. I can't do it. Because I'm under the influence of the golden horned beast's bloodline, I'm constantly filled with killing intent. This is something deep in my bones. However, second brother is right, whether it's rage, hurt, happiness, excitement, killing intent, they are all natural reactions. Maintaining a pure mind, everything will happen naturally. When it's time to laugh, I'll laugh. When it's time to rage, I'll rage. Luo Feng thought, wanting to kill too is a naturally thing. With a pure mind, I'll face it and accept it. Naturally, I'll be able to reach a point of pureness where all the elements will blend together. Luo Feng understood the theory. However, when the killings really happen, Luo Feng could at most maintain an ice-cold state, without any rippling. As for pureness, blending with nature, that was very difficult indeed. Luo Feng, the arena war is about to start. You should enter the virtual universe. Luo Feng opened his eyes, his gaze cold. Not suppressing his killing intent anymore, naturally releasing it. Looks like you are different. Has the meditation helped? Luo Feng didn't answer, saying directly, connect to the virtual universe. Virtual universe, in the space where there were many dojos located. Island number 29109. There was a dojo and in its preparation room, geniuses sat in chairs, all ready to slaughter. All of them were absolute warriors. A black-haired man in a dark grey armor appeared from thin air. In the preparation room, the geniuses all turned to look. This black-haired man surveyed his surroundings and glanced at them, not speaking a word, immediately finding a seat and sitting down, closing his eyes, calming his mind, awaiting the battle to begin. Geniuses appeared one by one out of thin air within the preparation room. These were all geniuses from the different star fields in the Ganwu universe country. Their appearances were completely different and some even looked strange. Pushkin, that's Pushkin, and beside him is Janelli. The originally quiet room suddenly had a bit of a commotion, causing Luo Feng to open his eyes and look at the two humans that had just appeared. One of them was tall and sturdy and his face was filled with golden fur. This 6 m tall participant looked like a giant ape man, and his terrifying eyes glowed green in color. His two huge fists especially were comparable to the size of two giant metal hammers. Pushkin. Luo Feng's mind swiftly recalled through the data the Black Dragon Mountain Empire had given him. Pushkin, an absolute genius that the Ganwu universe country imperial family had nurtured. He favored using his fists, and had the power to break into the universe country's top 1000. In the elimination, he was ranked 9th in the 89th world. Janelli. Luo Feng eyes shifted from the golden ape man to the short man beside him. Even though he was referred to as being short, in truth this Janelli still had a height of 1.9 m, which is still taller than Luo Feng. However, standing beside a 2-story tall ape man, Pushkin naturally looked like a short person. Luo Feng didn't have any information on Janelli, because even the Black Dragon Mountain Empire didn't have any information on Janelli. Pushkin, sit here. Janelli's expression was thin and frail, his eyes cold, almost like a venomous scorpion. He gave off a feeling similar to Nuolan Shan. Good. A thick powerful voice came from Pushkin's throat, even echoing about. Janelli and Pushkin walked directly towards Luo Feng and sat beside him. Peng. The chair Pushkin sat in wobbled. Luckily every preparation room had a huge amount of space, otherwise with his large structure, Pushkin would take up to 6 or 7 seats. Pushkin and Janelle sat down in the same row of seats that Luo Feng was sitting at. Janelli turned towards Luo Feng beside him and said coldly, sit further away. I don't like people close to me, you must be crazy. Luo Feng shot a glance at Janelli and said coldly, following which he closed his eyes and never looked at him again. Janelli's cold eyes suddenly burned with rage, staring hard at Luo Feng, almost like a snake eyeing its prey. However, in this preparation room, it was absolutely forbidden for anyone to make a move. As such, Janelli could only scoff coldly and close his eyes. Suddenly the noise from the dojo outside could be heard within. Attention all. the 382nd group of the Arena Wars is about to begin. Let me first introduce this group's 100 participants. A clear, crisp voice resounded not only throughout the entire dojo, but could also be heard clearly within the preparation room, following which a wave of cheers followed. First, Pushkin, from the Ganwu Universe country, ranked 9th in the 89th world of the elimination stage. Thunderous cheers erupted, causing the entire preparation room to tremble. That's Pushkin, right? That's him. His fists are extremely terrifying. Don't ever get close to him. There was soft discussion within the room. Number 2, Janelli, from the Ganwu Universe country, ranked 21 in the 13th world of the elimination stage. The commentator's voice, every genius within the room could hear very clearly. Only then did Luo Feng open his eyes and glanced at the gold-armored, cold-looking youth beside him. This Janelli, who was actually able to be ranked number 2 within this 100 people, he was very strong. 3 Road, 4th, 5th, Luo Feng, from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, ranked 51st in the first world of the elimination stage. The cheers were thunderous, as over 1 million supporters from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire roared. Black Dragon Mountain Island, over 1,000 people gathered in a luxurious palace. Dressed in a dark golden imperial robe, the emperor sat high above. Below him was the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire's many imperial subjects. Because of the everlasting reign of the imperial family, the numbers of subjects within the empire were up to 100 million. Hence, to be able to enter this level of imperial gathering, they were definitely the imperial family's most elite. They were either sector lords or domain lords. There were even queens that governed and managed different sectors, or that group of princes that would someday succeed the throne. Or some other high-positioned females in the imperial family. It's Luo Feng. There was silence in the palace. Over 1,000 of the imperial family watched that floating large screen, and on it was the live broadcast. All that could be seen was that beautiful commentator smiling as she introduced, 5th, Luo Feng, from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, ranked 51st in the first world of the elimination stage. Simultaneously, the screen also had information, and an image of Luo Feng. It's Luo Feng, haha. Luo Feng will easily pass the Arena Wars battle. Looking at his image, this Luo Feng isn't some ordinary person. His gaze is filled with killing intent. There was discussions rampant throughout the palace, as all of them were speaking highly of Luo Feng. Who would dare to speak ill of him? This was the highest of imperial gatherings, this genius battle. The geniuses of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire were only left with this one seedling, Luo Feng. If he lost too, then the Black Dragon Mountain Empire would really lose all its honor and face. With successive outs from the previous 2 participants, who did not make it into the top 10,000, while other middle-level civilization countries had participants that had made it through, it obviously made them fall behind by quite a bit, haha. The emperor's laugh was clear and bright. With all his subjects complimenting Luo Feng, there was however one prince out of the many whose eyes were filled with shock. This was none other than the 9th Prince Brolin. Out of the over 1,000 subjects there, Brolin looked happy on the outside, but he could barely hold it in, as he had already realized the perilous situation he was in. This Luo Feng, it's actually him. Even though the reputation of Luo Feng was huge, as the elimination stage wasn't broadcasted, there was much information about these geniuses that the outside world didn't know. Only some large powers were able to dig up these details. For example, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire had sent a special envoy team, just like how some large organizations had also sent some people over to pay Luo Feng a visit. These were all because these powers had methods to find Luo Feng through the virtual universe company, and thus his address within the virtual universe. However, Brolin, who was only a prince, was forbidden from any of the Empire's information systems and mail systems. Hence, he didn't even know Luo Feng's appearance. Luo Feng, he is Luo Feng. Brolin grit his teeth, big trouble. Finding trouble with Luo Feng, he no longer any such ideas, because he was very clear that with Luo Feng's reputation, he could easily join some super organizations that could cause even the Black Dragon Mountain Empire to fear. He didn't want to mess with Luo Feng anymore. However, he was worried that Luo Feng would remember how back then he had sent people to use the laser guns to kill the 12 targets, and also sent a team to chase and kill Luo Feng. Would he remember these incidents and hold a grudge? I'll temporarily not mess with him. As long as I am within the Imperial City, he doesn't have the ability to mess with me. Brolin grit his teeth. Above the palace, the Emperor was sitting beside the 2 sector lords and chatting. But Asuka, what chance does this Luo Feng have? The Emperor couldn't help but say softly, pretty big chance, but there's still danger. Beside him the silver long-bearded old man creased his eyebrows. Your Majesty should know that of the 100,100 that made it through the elimination, close to a half of them are the special elites specially nurtured by the different imperial families of the universe country. The Emperor nodded. The country leader of the Ganwu universe country had sent over 100 million elite geniuses to participate. There were a total of over 800 million people in the first stage. This group didn't stand out much. However, among those that made it through the elimination stage, over 40,000 of them were from the group that the Ganwu universe country leader sent. It was very obvious that the universe country's imperial family had powerful geniuses and inside information. The top ranker within Luo Feng's group right now is Pushkin, followed by Janelli. Of the top 10 in this group, 6 of them are all elites specially nurtured by the Ganwu universe country's imperial family. The old man shook his head. The worst case scenario would be for Luo Feng to get surrounded and ganged up on. Royal uncle, do you see? The emperor looked at the other sector lord beside him. Also dressed in a dark golden imperial robe, the uncle smiled. Your Majesty, worrying right now is useless, and we are not even clear about this Luo Feng's true power. Just watch. The fights will begin very shortly. Just watch. The emperor could only nod. On island number 29109, the dojo was already filled with a sea of people. Daddy is number 5. Mommy, are the 4 before Daddy stronger than him? Ping Ping asked curiously. That's the ranking. Shushin smiled. The 4 before him are ranked higher, but their strengths may not be more powerful than your daddy. Oh. Ping Ping nodded. Beside Little Hai was muttering, Daddy is the strongest, the strongest. Around him sat many people from Earth, such as Hong and Thunder God with their families along with Luo Feng's parents etc. Third brother will definitely win. Hong stared at the center of the dojo. Thunder God stared too. Right now, of the 3 brothers only Luo Feng was left in this genius battle. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The beautiful commentator shouted excitedly, as the entire atmosphere in the dojo reached its peak. Rumble. The entire dojo roared and tremored. The beautiful commentator immediately vanished, and at the same time 100 human silhouettes appeared within the center at different positions. It was the 100 geniuses that were being introduced. Some were really tall and fit, while others were filled with fur, or had horns. It seemed like their appearances all differed. However, the similarity was they stood at the peak of humanity. Pushkin, Kuan, Luo Feng. The cheering alone could split the mountains and earth. The roars from a billion spectators seemed like it could shake and crumble the entire dojo itself. Within the dojo, including Luo Feng, the 100 geniuses all heard the cheers of the 1 billion people, and couldn't help but feel a surge of adrenaline. Looking around, there was no end to these spectators, who were all from different star fields. And Luo Feng was able to pick out those shouting his name and looked towards the direction. That way, that's the people from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Luo Feng looked in that direction. It was a blur of people. Silence. Within the battle arena, there was nothing but silence. The 100 geniuses all gathered their focus, as this battle would last only 15 minutes. Within these 15 minutes, the battle space would constantly shrink until there was only 1 left. Let the battle begin. A low voice immediately resounded within the minds of the 1 billion spectators, along with the 100 geniuses in the dojo. Ao Fei Xiaosai and Kazan immediately headed towards Luo Feng. At this time, the mass battles within the dojo of geniuses had already begun. Xiao. A bolt of lightning shot towards Ao Fei Xiaosai. Bastard. Ao Fei Xiaosai and Kazan could only stop and first deal with the punks that provoked them. Pushkin, who was dressed in a genetic energy armor, was tall and sturdy like a war god. His 2 fists that were even bigger than hammers were covered in malevolent gloves. His surroundings were filled with a yellow energy flow. With 1 step he rushed into the group of geniuses, and his huge fist pummeled towards a weak and frail-looking warrior, Peng. With just 1 punch the enemy's blades flew away, while the second fist was landing straight on the enemy's forehead. Death. The war god like Pushkin waved his fists. With 1 swing after another, they were not only as heavy as mountains, but fast and unpredictable as well. They sometimes became pointy claws, and the moment he drew close to a person it was simply a nightmare. Pushkin, within the blink of an eye, he had killed 2 geniuses, causing all the other geniuses around to increase their distance from him. However, his movements were swift. Every single step allowed him to lunge forward and close a large distance. At this time it wasn't just Pushkin, even Janelli and the others were all making their moves. In the distance, stepping on the soaring shuttle, Luo Feng was carrying a thick dark golden long rod on his back. Amongst the many geniuses, he was considered skinny, however he had an aura that made the others' hearts palpitate. Luo Feng's gaze was cold and filled with killing intent. Right now, there are still many opponents, there's no time to waste. I have to end this battle fast. Kill them all directly, kill. A youth surrounded by a green energy flow, carrying a shield and an axe rushed straight towards the closest opponent, Luo Feng, courting death. Floating in mid-air, the dark golden long rod on Luo Feng's back suddenly shot out a golden beam of light. At the same time the light shot out, a large amount of complex golden patterns followed along its trail, infused with peculiar golden law origin ripples. A dreamy golden blade was suddenly formed. The large amount of golden energy surrounded Luo Feng, wrapping itself around that golden blade, and finally shooting out, illusion blade technique. Luo Feng controlled it with all his willpower, using his full strength to unleash its greatest power. The first move he made at the arena war. Luo Feng had already taken out his full strength. The golden rainbow was extremely powerful and strong as it forced its way through the defenses, hitting straight into the flying weapons, after which it pierced through that purple-haired lady's forehead. The golden rainbow finally arced and returned to Luo Feng's side. This golden rainbow was actually a blurry illusionary golden blade. My god, so powerful. The surrounding geniuses were all filled with shock and fear as their expressions changing greatly. With just one move, he killed two geniuses back to back. One had to know that these were all powerful geniuses that had made it through the first elimination. Every one of them was considered to be at the pinnacle of strength at their levels, and definitely not some random cannon fodder. Even Pushkin had to focus all his strength on one opponent before actually heading on to the next. But the black-haired youth before them, with just one golden beam of light, he was immediately able to kill two people. This was extremely tyrannical, his that strong origin laws. He definitely has some comprehension of the origin laws, Janelli that bastard. He actually wants us to kill him. How can we kill him? Ao Facio Sai and Kazan, who were originally flying towards Luo Feng, but got distracted by others attacking them, just managed to kill their opponents. However, after watching Luo Feng kill the two geniuses consecutively with one golden light, the both of them quickly stopped. Let's go. The two of them turned to leave. Who would dare mess with Luo Feng? It was obvious this black-haired youth was a warrior that had stepped through the entrance of the origin laws, and his power was probably even crazier than Pushkin, those two. Luo Feng's gaze swept around after killing the two geniuses, and discovered the two closest geniuses, Ao Facio Sai and Kazan. He immediately stepped on his soaring shuttle, and swiftly flew towards them. As a warrior who stepped through the entrance of the origin laws, his speed at controlling the soaring shuttle was extremely shocking. His coming. Ao Facio Sai and Kazan's expressions changed. A resplendent golden rainbow immediately shot towards them. Kazan, who was flying behind, quickly waved the huge axe in his hand. The spectators were all silent. Pushkin massacring was within everyone's predictions. After all, he was ranked the highest in his group. However, the 1 billion spectators from the various star fields had never expected this Luo Feng, who was ranked number 5 in his group, was actually so intrepid. Even more so than that war god like Pushkin, Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Over 1 million spectators from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire all stared wide-eyed with glee, many roaring with excitement as their eyes filled with madness. Daddy. Daddy. Little Hai and Ping Ping both stood up on their chairs, shouting with all their might, third brother. Hong and Thunder God stood up too. Big brother sure is powerful. Luo Hua couldn't help but mutter softly, your brother-in-law. Shu Gang stared wide-eyed. Beside him Shu Shin too was filled with excitement, her eyes glued to the center of the arena. And around then the over 1 million people from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire too had lost it. This was the unexpected surprise Luo Feng had given to countless from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. They all shouted for Luo Feng's victory, as they were mesmerized by Luo Feng's strength. In the past, they didn't have anything to back up their words. After all, the results of the battles from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire from the past had always been poor. They had nothing to support them. However, now, they had the right to roar. They had the right to boast proudly, Luo Feng, Luo Feng. They all madly roared, excitedly cheering, shaking the entire earth and heavens. Within that luxurious palace on Black Dragon Mountain Island, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's imperial family were all staring hard at the screen. They saw Luo Feng unleash his strength, killing the two geniuses in an instant, and chasing and killing the other two right after. As they watched the other geniuses, who were all scared silly, all fleeing far, and not daring to approach Luo Feng, the entire palace erupted. The emperor fiercely slapped the throne, shouting out, "Good, congratulations, your majesty, congratulations." Immediately the people below shouted, "Royal father, this Luo Feng is obviously the strongest one there. After this battle, who would dare call our Black Dragon Mountain Empire weak?" The third prince was the first to stand, shouting proudly, "Nanshan armament." The silver-haired old man Bu Darasuka said, "Right, it's the Nanshan armament." Beside him the royal uncle nodded too, "Nanshan armament." The emperor was shocked, one of the 9 god weapons of the controller, that Nanshan armament. That dark golden long rod. I initially thought it was a close combat rod-like weapon. Back during the 100 world elimination stage, every world had a few with origin law comprehension, like Luo Feng and Windmill. However, they confined themselves to their own city. F the two had wandered about into other cities, and defeated the absolute warriors from there with their strengths. These two could have easily rushed into their world's top 10. The moment they made it into the top 10. According to their ranking, Luo Feng and Pushkin would definitely not have been in the same group. Within the arena, Janelli could only hear that rage-filled roar from Ao Fei Xiao Sai resound within his ears. Janelli didn't even have time to think about his death, his gaze fixed on the distant Luo Feng. Within he was filled with shock and rage. This insolent punk, he actually after killing both of them, Luo Feng turned and his cold gaze fixed on Janelli. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.